Look, look, my ear has exactly the same color as my t-shirt. Welcome to this video on how to Rhino number 22. We will look into the surface tools. Again, we are only a third through the surface tools. A third through. After that we go into solids, but don't miss this because this is essential if you want to model in 3D in Rhino. We will look into how to adjust directions of an edge, how to blend edges, how to blend surfaces, how to connect surfaces. We look into symmetry and also tweening surfaces. So you can not just tween curves but also surfaces. But before we jump into all this, I want to give a quick shout out to Leonardo and his awesome YouTube channel Parametrizado. He was so generous and nice to invite me last Thursday for a small chat, and it was my first live chat on YouTube. I need to apologize, my audio was not very great, but I think it was a nice chat. We talked about, of course, Rhino, about what I did in the past and where I'm now, projects we worked on, and in general about 3D modeling industry, different programs, and so on. It was pretty awesome. Again, thank you, and check it out if you're interested. I will place the link in the show notes. Now we jump back to our surface tools. Okay, let me prepare the screen a bit. I like to work in the rendered viewport, especially with smaller stuff. Okay, so I think we can start. We are at the surface tools here. So here's a sphere. Don't worry about it. Will not use it. I only used it to adjust my material viewport and a nice workspace. And now we jump into this section here. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tools we will look into very quickly and right now. First of all, we have set the surface tangent direction. If we want to, so here we have a surface, and if we want to bend our edge, we want to set the edge direction to that line, then we can use this tool. I will stay here, and it's pretty straightforward, but we will discuss the problems with this and how we can fix it. So first of all, if we do that now, okay, let's just click here, select untrimmed naked edge. That's important. It's not a trimmed edge, but it's the edge of the original surface. And then we select that, and then it says base point for tangent direction. And we click here, and then it just pulls it down to basically match the direction at this end of the edge. Now this direction, the horizontal direction, is lost because we only have so if we look at the surface control points, then we can see we only have 2. Oh, sorry, we have 3 per side. So 1, 2, 3. We have the edge point, the corner point, and then we have this as a control point. And of course we can change that and the direction stays the same. What if we want to keep this, in the horizontal direction? What we need to do is we need to add more divisions. So we can do that by, as we already discussed, insert control point. Or you can also insert a knot. That's also possible. So the difference is that the one is basically you select the point, the division point on the surface. You can see that actually here. So if I look at this point, these control points are kind of related to that division of the surface. So if I want to add one more, there are 2 ways to do that. We either draw the division line and mark this with the knot. It's always along the curve, or with the control points. It depends on what you do on your project. If you need to control your surfaces with control points, then this is the better method. We added one. Now this also has changed a bit the curvature, but you can see that this is now flat. That means if I change that here, it will only affect the first control point of the surface and not the others. So let's do that again. Here, zack. See? And now I can still play with my control points. So So I can actually adjust them here. Now I matched the edge of this here and this to the lines. It's pretty awesome. Next is match surface or match up to four surface edges. There are a lot of options with this tool. I will use this, so it's more interesting. Let's see what else you can do with the same surface. With match surface, let's do this. Okay, let's just start very simple. Okay, we can take this, select untrimmed surface edge to change. Yeah, we want to change this surface edge and we want to match it to this edge. You see, so this time we actually move the edge to somewhere else. So that does the opposite. It's we select an edge which we want to match. What it also does, it already applies the right direction also, because this surface ends in this direction, so that will try to match that direction as well, not just the position. However, we can also just match the position. So if we go back here, then this thing pops up and we can play with it a bit more. And now we actually have the problem that this happened. That's not what I want. That has something to do with how you select the things. So let's do it again. This, I made the mistake that I selected first here and then like this, then it's kind of flipped. That's not good. Again, so we want to change that edge and match it to this one. And with here we can select if we only want to match the position. That only moves the edge to that position, but it doesn't take the tangency or the curvature into account. With tangency it becomes this. And with curvature it actually extends that kind of curve from this. Pretty interesting. No, I didn't thought it's ending up like this, but yeah. So I leave this kind of fine tuning up to you. You can play with it. For me, this already does a very good job. There is another option here with right click. As you know, there are always like some tools have a left and the right click. Here it says match up to 4 surface edges. That's also quite interesting. So what we do, that's why I have this ball here. We will cut something out of it. Let's not play too much, otherwise there's a problem. Okay, now we can try that tool. Right click. Now we can select this edge, then the edge we want to match it to. This of course is a problem. Although it actually worked quite well. Yeah, we'll try it again. See? Now it worked. And here it didn't work 100%, and it's because for some reason this edge here doesn't continue. It stops. If I go back here. Okay, we try one more thing. Two things. So there is actually an option to select edge chains. So let's do this. Here we select untrimmed surface, chain edges. Let's do this first. Match this, and then now we match this, and we chain with edge chain. Even the last edge was not connected, or like were actually two edges, it worked. And then you have like a kind of a here. This is not nice. I don't know what happened here. Let's do it again. And then now edge chain. Is that cool? Yes. And see, it fits, and it's funny because it fits the curvature on the edge, but it's kind of flattened. Yes, okay. So why was that now? Why didn't work? Anyway, now with this one, you can see that we can still adjust things. So position, that so the curvature tries to actually match the ball better, but I kind of like it that it becomes this flat. Another tool, merge surfaces. Yeah, so the merge surface works better with already curved surfaces. If you merge surfaces, flat surfaces, it's a bit weird. I just tried it, so I know. But so in that case, you would use blend surface. But what it does, it's basically tries to create one surface out of two. One of my lights got off. Doesn't matter. Actually, look better now. Okay, so we can merge surfaces, but you have to set the roundness. Roundness 1 means more round, more curve. Low, but you can only set it between 0.1 or like between 0 and 1. Let's set it to 0.5. Select the surface, and they need to connect. That shows, this is the original line I drew. But yeah, it creates one surface. Let's go back and let's try another roundness. Let's try 0.1. Yeah, sorry, 0.1. Select, and then there's much more edge to it. Refit trimmed surface edge. I haven't tried that and never. Okay, so this tool has something to do with trimmed and untrimmed or not trimmed surface. Because, for example, if I choose this tool here, it says untrimmed naked edge. What does it mean? When you trim a surface, so let's do that quickly. I will trim it here. So this is a trimmed edge, and you can see that actually the control points are still the old one. So it still has the same, the control points didn't. If I do shrink trimmed surface, then it, let's do it, let's see it again. Trimming does not change the surface really, so it still has this kind of, it still has the old outline when I look at the control points, and there was a cut here. If I there's one command is shrink trim surface that actually pulls the control points to the bounding rectangle of that surface, or bounding box basically. But in that case, because it's flat, it's it's basically a rectangle. So if let's go back. If I use this tool here, let's try this tool. Refit trimmed edge, surface edge. Okay. Create a new edge. We create a new surface, which is a bit weird. Okay, so and now this, when I look at this control points, then they're back here. Then they're back on the corner. Let's do that again, because in a way it's a bit strange. So what other options do, because I have this, I want to keep this curve. How could I change that? So I could add more control points. That's maybe a way to do it. So I add more control points. See, it's still here, this whole thing. Still very strange. If it's, however, already a curved surface, then it's probably a different story. You can, so it creates segments. It creates segments along this. And you can control it by adding more segments. So you can say extra knot per span. You can change that to, let's say, 5. Delete input. Let's say yes. Current layer. No. Yes. Yes. It's a bit weird because it adds these like segments. What if, and then there's another command actually, it untrim. That's a very interesting. If it's still a trimmed surface, then you can untrim it. You see, it's actually still has the old control points as before. So these are my corners from the original surface. And you can untrim by using the untrim command, and you can select the trimmed edge and untrim it. Pretty cool, but it doesn't work if you shrink it. So if I do shrink trimmed surface and I do this again, then see I lost the information of the trim. Now if I use that command now, actually it should do something, but not, it doesn't recreate that old surface. So if I use untrim, then it should actually, yeah. So it basically connects to that new kind of corner point. But yeah, I'm not 100% sold on that refit trim surface, because I would hope that it creates a curve here. So what if the curve is already a curve? What if the edge is already curved? That could be interesting. So if I do this, and I create the surface out of this one, then well, it has already more control points, but it might help me. It might help me a bit. So if I now do the same here, let's try this. Now I trimmed it here, and let's see where my control points are. Control points are still the old one. And now if I want to refit these control points, let's see what happens. That works much better. So there's a difference between an already curved surface or a straight surface. For sure there's a way to deal with that, but I haven't figured it out. If you know, let me know. That would be really good to know how I can have the same effect on a planar straight surface with straight edges. I think for sure it has something to do with the curvature. I don't know. I really don't know. If you know, please let me know. That would be great. Symmetry. Another thing I rarely used, if I even can remember that I used it before, but for sure it has some very useful applications. Select curve and or surface edge. Yeah, that's pretty good. So as you saw on this, okay, I can, let's try the other way. Let's try it here. Mirror, curve, surface edge. Oh. It also fits. It also tries to fit the curvature and the tangency to the new surface. I see. Okay, let's try it again. Continuity smooth. If I click that, then I can change it to position. Okay. So that, okay, okay, it's much clearer. That's a pretty useful tool. I didn't see again. No, I haven't used that before. I mean, with Symmetry, we at some point we go into the sub D tools, of course. There, Symmetry is really useful. Where I use it all the time. But yeah, Symmetry, good to know. And let's tween some surfaces. I will make it simple because for sure there's some issues here. I'm curious. I'm so curious. For sure it will not work with the first time. Number of surfaces. Wow. Yes. I did not expect that. No. Okay, I show you something. Animate with snapshots. Okay, so snapshot. Okay. Layers, objects, position. Okay. And let's select this again. Scale, position. And we go back. And we create another snapshot. Look. So we're gonna do some yeah, I mean, how cool is that? Anyway, I'm just playing around here. So you can see there's some cool things to do with the surface tools and surface tweening. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. Can create some really awesome animations. That's it. Please check out the interview, the chat we had, Leonardo and me on his channel. That was pretty interesting, and thanks again for all the kind comments and so on. See you next time.